Ramakrishna. Om. Salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna's devotional teachings, Sri Ramakrishna Bhakti Sutras. The first chapter, the purpose of life. The fourth aphorism, God is the Kalpataru, the wish-fulfilling tree. One will certainly get whatever one will ask of him, of course. The original is Ishwar Kalpataru, Je chaibe tai pabe. God is, Ishvara is the Kalpataru. Now, it's translated as wish-fulfilling tree. Taru is, of course, tree in Sanskrit. And Kalpa, what is Kalpa? It has various meanings. One is the movement of thought. Another meaning is the cyclic nature of life. Kalpa is the massive, you can say, the process of creation, preservation, destruction. That is one cycle of creation. So we will take these two things. The first is the movement of the mind, kalpa. The wish-fulfilling tree. There is in mythology a heavenly tree called a kalpataru. In fact, there are not one tree, but there are three. But it is generally mentioned as one. It's a heavenly tree. The idea is you have to go to that tree and be underneath that tree and then wish. So you cannot be far away from the tree and then wish. Oh, I wish I could get this and I wish I could get that. And then you find there's nothing happening. So why? You have to come near the tree. That is, you have to come near Ishvara, God. And then one will certainly get whatever one will ask or wish. Now we have Sri Ramakrishna's parable itself. There was a person who was extremely tired and he was in a trackless forest, and he comes to a place and he's so tired he just lay down under a tree to rest, and then he's saying, oh my God, I wish somebody would give me some food. I'm so famished. And somebody comes with food. The food comes. Oh my God. And he ate and he was so satisfied. I'm so hungry. That is over. But now I want to rest. And I wish there was a nice soft bed. And the nice soft bed appeared. And he lay down on it. And he's saying, I'm so tired, I wish the young damsel comes and massages my feet. And a young damsel comes and massages. Now he's in bliss. I only hope no tiger comes my way. And the tiger comes this way. So you have to be careful of what you wish. In our lives, we wish for many things and we get it and then we regret it. Oh, why did I? One, the power to wish and the power to supply or fulfill your own wish is with each individual. We don't realize this. Everybody desires, they wish, and you also have the power to fulfill that wish. It is a power given to all minds. So whether there's a movement of the mind, it will fructify. And the idea of a tree is the tree bears fruits. So any movement of the mind will bear fruits. Leave mythology away. It's just plain psychology. A derivative of this wishing and getting a wish fulfilled, people say that there's nothing but wish fulfillment. These modern psychological terms. Wish fulfillment. Yeah, there is some truth in that. There's wish fulfillment. The power to supply your needs comes from within. Swamiji in one place saying, there is a mother there in the repository of all powers, dwelling in each and every one as the Kundalini. And then, like I said, the derivative of this idea is also the form of karma and its effects. If you wish for something, that thing is going to come to you. Is it just a mechanical process? Yeah, it can look from a mechanical process, it makes sense. Yeah, the movement of the mind but there are some people, there's a movement of the mind and that movement makes you work, the body to complete a particular task or a series of tasks. And then you wait and it doesn't come. And then after some years, you've forgotten what you wished for and it has come. Then saying, oh, I didn't ask for it. And yeah, you asked for it. The more intense the thought is, the more quicker will it come. Generally, material thoughts will fructify easily. Spiritual thoughts will fructify late. It takes years. But if you have wished in spiritual life and also in every other life, if you have wished for spirituality, for God, of something, somewhere you have cried, somewhere you have wept, somewhere you were tormented. Does God exist? These prayers have been answered. And now it's just a question of intensifying those thoughts. Not thoughts of torment, of course, but thoughts of God. And that will first. So, I just spoke, it's a mechanical process. You can look at it like that. But there's also the idea that the mind works on the principle of consciousness. If there's no consciousness, which we will see in the next, the mind will not function. It will be just plain materialist. But what is consciousness? That's a huge, you can say, debate going on. What's consciousness? God, Ishvara, dwells in everyone. So that external tree, in the heavenly tree, or go searching for that tree, that's not important. That tree is right here within us, because God is here within us, and the power to fulfill your wishes, the tree, also is within us. And that's why, say, sometimes we wonder, we prayed so much, and I think God is deaf. There was a Swami. Towards the end, and other Swamis coming and meeting him. You pray for me. Please pray. Ask mother. I said, well, you ask. I think God is deaf, I think. I've been praying and not listening. And it was humor with seriousness and saying, no, you wish, and we'll wish, of course, we'll pray for you. But sometimes we have prayed for n number of things, and perhaps one or two wishes or desires have been fulfilled. What about the others? Sri Ramakrishna says God listens to every prayer. Not only that, God has sensitive ears. He can hear the footfall of even an ant. In the Bible, it says, not even the sparrows fall. A sparrow fall, right? Nobody notices. Yeah, there's somebody who notices. At times, some of the thoughts are fancies. If you look at our lives, most of our wishes and thoughts are like fancies, have got no substance. We have not become serious about what exactly we want. And so those fanciful thoughts, those things that come airy like and go and float, they have not to be taken seriously. And God also doesn't take them seriously. Imagine all your fancies you would be in La La Land. You would not be in a real world. So those thoughts which have a wish, a desire, a powerful wish, they will fructify. There is no doubt about it. And God, Ishvara, as I said, the Bhagavad Gita says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam. Ishvara dwells in all beings. Where is this Ishvara? It dwells as consciousness. That consciousness which is there within us is the consciousness of God, Ishvara. And so, when we wish something, yes, deep, that is, you have to go near the tree. When your thoughts are deep and you wish, and then those wishes come. Don't wish for a tiger. Or you're going to, the tree and everything is gone off then. This gives hope to all spiritual aspirants, all those who seek to know truth or higher life, who are struggling to make sense of this world. If they wish, they go close to that tree. Now, many of us cannot go deep down in and meditate. So you go to a place where there is an external representation of that tree. And you can go and pray there. And you will get it there. So Sri Ramakrishna, on the 1st of January, 1886, he became what is called the Kalpataru, the wish-fulfilling tree. And we celebrate this day every year, on the 1st of January. So in that particular incident, Sri Ramakrishna has been suffering from a throat cancer. He cannot speak, he cannot eat, he cannot move about. That day, on the 1st, he felt a little better. And so he came out of his room down the house where he was, the rented house, and he was walking down the path. It was cold, 1st of January. He had put on a cap and a coat, etc., and slippers, and he was walking down. So he saw a group of devotees, because it's a holiday and they had all congregated there. So he saw Girish saying, Girish, Ram, and there were about 30 devotees scattered all over. There were some sitting down near an old mango tree. The descendant of that tree, of course, is now standing in his place. So he looks at Girish saying, what is this you've been saying that I am an incarnation, etc.? What have you understood? So Girish, no, you are the great poet, dramatist, everything, bohemian. Oh, he knelt down, joined his palms, and with a choking voice, he's saying, what can I say of him who even Valmiki or Vyasa could not describe him? Now, Valmiki was the poet, he's called the first poet. He wrote the Ramayana. Vyasa, he wrote the Mahabharata, the epic Mahabharata, and the various Puranas. Say he had a massive intellect, a brain. Even they could not describe what to speak of me. And Sri Ramakrishna had gone into a state of samadhi. And then he says, what more can I say? May you all be awakened. Tumadir Chaitanya Hok. And he kept on touching, either on the chest or on the head, the devotees. And they all went into ecstasy. Whatever their ideal was, spiritual ideal, of course, was realized. And like a group of madmen, they were like laughing and chanting. And some of them picked flowers and they spread it on Sri Ramakrishna's feet, saying Jai Sri Ramakrishna. So it went on for a few minutes. So he actually demonstrated that there is something called a Kalpataru. Sri Ramakrishna is the Kalpataru, the wish-fulfilling tree. But you've got to go there, to him, and then ask, and then you'll get fulfilled. And like I said, he knows the grand plan for your life. So he won't give you things which will detract you from that grand plan. He could have told us what's a grand plan for us. And that's the nature of a jiva. It does not know. And God, we say, God knows. Actually, God knows. So this is what, so the purpose of life is to go near the tree, go to near Sri Ramakrishna, and then wish. And that will be fulfilled. So it's not just a mechanical process. In addition to that, it is also a tangible, conscious, living process with God, which is inside, hearing everything that you wish for. Okay? That's the fourth one. Now the fifth. The fifth is, as consciousness, he pervades the entire universe of the living and non-living. He alone is consciousness. Yes, Tini Chaitanya Rupe Charachara Vishve Vyapta Hoye Ravechen. Tini Chaitanya Swarup. He is of the nature of consciousness. We are talking about consciousness. He is of the nature of consciousness. And we ask, is this non-living also conscious? We say non-living is non-living. We are living, and this is thing along non-living. Here, Sri Ramakrishna says, he pervades the entire universe of the living and the non-living. Cannot be selective. This is living, I'll pervade this, and this is non-living, I'll not bother. No. They are part of that same living and non-living. They cannot separate. How is that consciousness? We don't see it. So in the scriptures, they give the example of like oil in a seed. You press that oil and you press the seed and you get oil. Like fire, which pervades the wood. You just need rubbing, only friction it. But similarly, in everything, God pervades as consciousness. So does that exhaust God in the sense of he just pervades everything and no more, nothing? No. He pervades and yet transcends. So in the Vedas they say, Padosya Vishwa Bhutani Tripadasya Amrita. A quarter of his has become the universe. And the 3/4 of his being are transcendental in the divine. So this world now has become now divine. If he, God or she, doesn't matter. I think she pervades all. She pervades everything. She pervades you and me and everything. And we have been searching for God, and people have been searching for God, finding consciousness in the brain, trying to find consciousness in the brain, trying to find consciousness here and there, and now they are finding that consciousness is everywhere. At least they're conscious. Now trees are also conscious, and insects and fish and birds, and they're all conscious. Oh, at least. So what is common to all these things? Oh, the various species. Oh, you can see how it grew, the evolution has created. Yes, the one thing that is common to all this is consciousness. Not even life. It is deeper than life, because living and non-living. So our Sunday talk will be discussing this very thing. So just a thumbnail of. So as consciousness, Ishvara, God, pervades the entire universe. Tini Chaitanya Rupe, in God in his form of consciousness, pervades the universe of the moving and the non-moving. It's translated living and non-living, but the moving and the non-moving. Vyapta, that is pervades, like everything. It's not only the basis, it's in the middle, in the beginning, in the end, and everything. So you take that out and everything is. Why can't we understand this? Yes, we wish it would have been. Yeah, we wish. Why can't we wish? Wish we would have. That's because of a kind of a screen. And the screen is the ego that thinks itself as distinct from Ishvara, God. So it aggrandizes everything to itself. This, I am that, etc. So doesn't God pervade the ego also? Yes. Pervades the ego also. Yeah. The ego, the mind, the senses, the body, atoms, molecules, quarks, everything, energy, everything. Everything, yes. There is nothing else other than consciousness. So consciousness is fundamental. That's a reason why in Vedanta, Brahman is called existence and consciousness and bliss. So consciousness is existence. And it's not a dry consciousness, a dry. What you? It's bliss. You can understand that consciousness, you'll be full of bliss. Why? Oh, you will be expanded self. You will see the consciousness everywhere, and you will behave now, interact with this world of the living and non-living as divinity. You're not going to be haughty and full of pride and ego and remorse and this and that. Your entire outlook of life will change. Why? Because you have understood this consciousness. So the purpose of life, the chapter is titled, is this. To realize this is the goal of life. Swami Sharadananda, when he was asked by Sri Ramakrishna, what kind of realization do you like? God with form, this, that, this. I want to see God as existing in all beings. So Sri Ramakrishna says, oh, that is the final word in spirituality. So I want that, nothing else. Sri Ramakrishna hesitated, then you will get it. So he wished, and he got it. This is what. So to see all, the idea is to see all beings in consciousness, and consciousness is on all beings. So the Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures say, Yastu sarvani bhutani atmaneva pashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate. So when you see all beings in consciousness, and consciousness is in all beings, there has never been and never will be a description of God this way. All beings in consciousness and consciousness in all beings. This is one of the highest experiences a human is capable of. What a tremendous kind of possibilities is there with all human beings, and the way we waste it. Oh, it's impossible. Oh, it's not only impossible, oh, that's a fake. That's lies. That does not exist. Look at us. So this higher state is when you can see everything in God and God in everything. It works both ways. So this is what Ishvara is, God is. Better start trying to understand this first in our own bodies. And then you can, once this is opened, then everything else is opened. So Sri Ramakrishna's experiences also is saying, oh, that I've seen consciousness wriggling even in a fish. Somebody was walking on that verdant lawns and he's kind of yelling. Tell that person not to walk on that. He felt that. Sri Ramakrishna is unique. So that is the fifth aphorism. I could go on and on and on, but we have the whole book here in front of us. So if we'll take it up, and now you need to think also on this. I don't need to give you all the inputs. You do a little thinking. The sixth aphorism is, some address him as Allah, some as God, some as Brahman, some as Kali, and others by such names as Rama, Hari, Jesus, Durga. This was one of his oft quoted teachings. The world has seen enough of this fanaticism. My God is right, your God is wrong. Somebody comes and says, my God is a more righter God. So let us decide it with a free fight. You bring yours and let us, and we have been fighting. We've been so dense, so stupid. We call God as God and then we fight over him as if he is a child that needs to be defended, and you're defending your own, because you've built your identity over some beliefs. And if you break those beliefs, then what? Then your identity is gone. Your culture is gone. Everything is gone. But you don't have to understand. Can't you understand that there is a higher culture, a human culture? So that was an old tribalism. And that tribalism is now rearing its head over here and there. Clannish religions, and tribal religions. And so this is my God. It was okay 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago. Okay. And even 3,000, 5,000, the Romans took up some Greek goddesses and gods, and some old Anatolian goddesses and goddesses. The goddesses and gods were morphed into different ones. They understood at least that. At least they had some brains. They were after land and all that thing, territory, trade, etc. But for the last 2,000 years, or less, or more, I don't know, we've been fighting over a simple thing that God cannot be contained in your tribe and in your clan. If he does, you're doomed. Why? Because it's a limited God. You have to make God the God of all. And people have been going round and round and saying, you become like us. You dress like us, you walk like us, you talk like us, you do everything like us, and then you'll get our God. When you look around as the world, doesn't it shock you that everything is diverse? There are no two similar things. You might get twins or something like that now and then. But that's not the normal. Even twins, they have their different personalities and stuff. Everything in this world is different, and yet it's unitary. Why can't God be like that? Why can't belief be like that, God belief? No. That old demon of tribalism, etc., coming and fighting and shouting. Imagine the destruction it has created in this world. And still is going on. Imagine. And we pride ourselves on being so progressive. Oh yeah, we know. So Sri Ramakrishna, because he was a prophet of harmony, not only prophet of harmony, the incarnation of harmony, he practiced all these various paths that he's speaking about. And he experienced them. That if you sincerely follow your path without criticizing others, you will reach that same goal. So when he says, some address him as Allah, some as God, some as Brahman, some as Kali, and others, such names as Rama, Hari, Jesus. We have 3 billion gods, 3.3 billion gods. Yeah, all these names are there. Hinduism is so rich. Imagine You're fighting over one or two gods and fighting. And we have not been fighting despite having 3 billion gods. Well, these fellows should have been dead by now fighting. No. Why? Because the Vedas say, truth is one, sages call it by various names. Ekam Sad, Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. It was all in the Rig Veda. That has been the guardrail all through. And if anybody gets outside, that person is called a heretic. Yes. Oh, it's heretic in the sense, using the current word, it's heretical. Heretic. But they were called non-orthodox. The truth is one, sages call it by various names. There is one God with thousands of names. When we chant the Vishnu Sahasranam or Shiva Sahasranam, all these, the 1,000 names of Vishnu, 1,000 names of Shiva, 1,000 names of Durga, 1,000 names of Kali, 1,000. One? Why can't you say, oh, this is Kali? No, we are not satisfied. One form, yeah, let us have 1,000 names. And nobody is fighting over those. All right, let them take their names. And if one form can have 1,000 names, why can't that one form have 1,000 forms? So does God only have divine forms? No. As we've seen in the previous aphorism, all forms are His. The tree, the birds, the plants, animals, insects, mosquitoes, gnats, you, me, they are all His forms. And yet, no, only divine forms. Yeah, these are all divinity. And we forgot the whole thing. So, we have such limited ideas of Godhead. That's why we will get kicked by others who have even lesser limited ideas of God. Fight against their own limitations. So if they are fighting against their own limitations, they are fighting against their own small ideas of Godhead. And yet they say, very strangely, God is all love. God is all compassion. And you'll see so many songs and poetry and literature writing, God is all love, all love. And yet you have somebody who's of a different belief, and there goes all the love and compassion, everything goes out of the window. And then, so the world has seen enough of it. It has to step out of this. If it doesn't, going to have trouble. Yeah. Already had enough trouble for 2,000 years. And what more? More than 2,000 years. I think those ancients, they understood things much better. Because you'll find, like a case instance, Indian mythology and Greek mythology, you'll find cognates. Goddess of dawn, and you have goddess of dawn. You have the god who sits on the mountain, you have the god who sits on the mountain. Everywhere. Who took what? Who borrowed what? Nobody. These are the universal archetypes that they will spontaneously rise in different parts of the world to different people. Nobody discovered, yeah, I went to the top of the mountain, I saw it. And they found a common link there, those ancients. And so they were comfortable in borrowing, hey, give me a god. I'll worship your god. Okay, take it. While we don't find that connecting link. We don't think of that, those universal archetypes. my thought and my God and my this, my that. So Sri Ramakrishna is clearly advising, because for a spiritual aspirant, limited ideas of God are not going to help either you or others. So you have to start with broadened steps to a universal idea of God. Then it makes sense. Then spiritual life makes sense. Oh, this is the well-trodden path, and your ancestors did it, their ancestors did it, and so you cannot come out. No, you've got to come out of the rat hole that you have. Your ancestors ran in those ruts, and you want to run in your ruts. And because the world is opening up, and is opening up tremendously. Now there's huge exposure of different peoples and cultures and practices and this and that. Enjoy it. Enjoy the vastness of this diversity. I remember when I was young, first I seen a huge poster of Swami Vivekananda, and below that poster was, "Unity in diversity is the plan of creation." And I was of an impressionable age. It hit me so hard. And it's like, it's been with me. I've never forgotten it. That became a kind of a bedrock for my entire spiritual life. So unity in diversity is the plan of creation. So Sri Ramakrishna also gave an example of, you go to a pond, and some say from this landing ghat, they say in India, steps. Some people call it jal. Some people call it water. Some people call it pani. And some people aqua. It's the same thing. And they're fighting over those. So once we understand, we also have that idea. Swami gives. So we have our limited ideas of God, and you're going with that pot and filling in that water or jal or pani or aqua or whatever. And that water will take that shape. So your limited ideas, as you break the pot first and understand that the water is important, not the external pot. So this will broaden your whole idea of religion, your spiritual life, your spiritual practices. Okay, we stop here before we can go. The next one is also, one who realizes God is only able to go beyond Maya. So, yeah. Talk about God realization, not there, here, now. It is. So Sri Ramakrishna emphasized this. So we'll take this 7th aphorism after 2 weeks on a Wednesday. A few announcements. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. towards the goal supreme, discussion and reading at Tapovan. You can go join online with the Google Meet. So our Swami Brahmatmananda, he will lead the discussion. Friday, 7 p.m., self-knowledge, Atma Bodha. It's a study class here at 7 p.m. Saturday, from 1 to 5, we have the meditation retreat at Tapovan. Please come. That's a potluck also. And meditate. Sunday, 10 a.m., expanding the self. Yeah. And then we have mother's children before the class talk, Sunday school. And in the evening, Sunday, at 4 p.m., we have devotional singing. Raka will lead a group of singers. So please come and sing your heart out. I said, what? Sing your heart out? Yeah. There's God inside, so God will come. It's not eat your heart out. How do the latent impressions of past births gets effaced, as we can only control conscious thoughts in our minds and think of positive thoughts if negative ones arise? This has been the constant thorn in everybody's life. Now they have understood, oh, how do the latent impressions of past births get effaced? If you have read Holy Mothers or even Sri Ramakrishna literature, you will find that latent impressions of past births are neutralized by japa. Number one. Secondly, now that you know that you have latent impressions called samskaras from past births, now you be careful. You be controlled. You be loving and compassionate. But if you carry on the same thing by parroting, oh, my past births are responsible now, it should make you self-conscious about your thoughts, your words, and your actions. You're not going to take everything, oh, it's my past births. What are you going to do about it? Start now. So, you are not at the complete mercy of your past samskaras, latent impressions. You have something called the power within you. It's called a purushakara. You have karma and its results coming to you. And you have another power. You have the power to perform karma, yes. And that power itself will bring you the results. There is another power within every human being. It's called a purushakara. It's translated as self-effort or willpower, something. Self-effort, that's better. So you, through your self-effort, purushakara, you can counter, neutralize your latent impressions. But don't be despondent about it. You at least have a human birth, which is very rare. So, and those who take a laid-back view of religion and life, and they will talk about those who are who take the active side of religious life. So what if I've done something? I don't want to blame. I didn't know. I don't remember. Okay, doesn't matter. Don't mope on that. Sri Ramakrishna was very careful. Don't keep on saying yourself, my past, but I'm going to blame that. If you don't, at least you're blaming that. You're not blaming God or society or something like that. There are people who blame that. But you have to be heroic and you can counter all those negative thoughts, as you say. Control conscious thoughts in our mind. Control, that's the idea. Control it. The whole of yoga philosophy is nothing but a control. Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the controlling of the waves in the mind. So, control it through yoga, control it through willpower, self-effort, and then the negative thoughts will go away. And then for now, you better stop thinking about negative thoughts. Think about positive thoughts. So, read books, spiritual books that are experiences are written by people who have gone through this spiritual path and their struggles and how they have overcome and how they have reached up. So these are positive. If you listen to the television, look at the television and this and that, and the whole world is full of all negative things. Somebody the other day was saying there was a news channel that only was airing only positive news, and then it had to close down because it has no viewership. And all the dirty laundry that you can wash is with all these, what is it called? These, there's a word for that. Legacy channels or whatever. Whatever. What? Dirty things. So, stay away from negative things. Start cultivating positive things, and then you can counter. Doesn't the taste of water matter more than the name on the bottle? How will all kinds of people find this truth out of their own culture? Yeah. Doesn't the taste of water matter more? The taste of water is the taste of water. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the sweet taste of water. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. I am that sweet taste of water. Okay? Don't put anything intoxicating in that water. That's so. Then the name on the bottle. Yeah, that is the water is water. It doesn't matter what you call it. So, does it quench your thirst? There are people in desert regions, they have to drink sometimes brackish water, which your city council and all these things will kind of saying, yeah, trying to kill people. If you drink that, people will die. There are people surviving on that kind of water. So water is water. It's just impurities have gone into the water. If you remove that impurities, there's this water, and all that water that we know is being recycled, dropped. There's not my water or your water. It's evaporated here and drops there. 20% of the US water comes from the Amazon. So they're not going to say, hey, that's our water, give back our water. No, it's there for everybody. So how will all kinds of people find this truth in their own lives? Yeah, it takes a little opening up of the heart, a little. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.